Hey everyone, and welcome back. Have you ever just stopped and wondered, what is it that really makes us click and like and share all day long? Well, today we are pulling back the curtain on the hidden science of social media. And hey, if you love getting right to the core of these big ideas, do me a solid, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on more explainers like this.
All right, let's get into it. We all use social media, but have you ever really thought about the deep engineering behind why it works so darn well? Today, we're going to break down this hidden framework from Mikolaj Piskorsky's work, and it reveals the actual strategy behind every single successful social platform. So first, we're going to look at a huge problem that exists in all of our social lives. Then we'll uncover the 4 hidden costs that actually create this problem. After that, we'll see how these platforms are just brilliantly designed to solve them. And finally, we'll see how this whole thing turns into a super powerful business strategy.
Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1, the problem of missing links. This idea, it gets at this fundamental, almost invisible friction in our everyday lives. It's really all about the valuable connections that we could be making, but for whatever reason, we just don't.
I mean, just think about it for a second. Your next best friend, maybe the perfect business partner, could be someone you walk past on the street every single day. So, why? Why do so many of these potentially life-changing connections just never happen?
Well, Piskorsky has a name for this. He calls them social failures, and it's a brilliant concept, really. It's kind of like market failures in economics, where a transaction that would be good for both people just doesn't happen. Social failures are the same thing, but for human connection. They're like these invisible walls that prevent us from forming relationships that would be great for everyone involved.
And this quote right here, this is the core aha moment. Piskorsky realized that if you can figure out why these connections fail, you can actually engineer a solution to fix it. This one simple question totally unlocked a massive opportunity, the very same opportunity that the entire social media industry is built on today.
Which brings us right to our second section. See, these social failures, they don't just happen randomly. They're caused by 4 very specific hidden barriers. Let's call them the 4 costs of connecting. So, first on the list is the presentation cost. In the real world, it's just super awkward to broadcast who we are and what we're really looking for. I mean, you can't exactly walk around with a sign that lists all your hobbies, your skills, and what you want in a friend, right? It'd be strange and, honestly, really inefficient.
Then you've got the search cost. So even if you could perfectly present yourself, how on earth do you find the right people? Trying to sift through literally billions of people to find someone who shares your very specific interest or has the one skill you need, that's a massive, almost impossible task.
Next up is the communication cost. This is that little voice of fear in your head that stops you from just saying hello. What if they ignore me? What if it gets awkward? That potential for a bad outcome often stops us from reaching out, even to people we might already kind of know.
And finally, we have the evaluation and enforcement cost. This is all about trust. How do you know if you can actually believe what someone tells you? In the real world, checking someone's claims is tough. This is exactly why it's so hard to lie on LinkedIn about where you worked. Your entire network of colleagues is right there, acting as a built-in fact-checker.
Okay, so we've got our 4 big barriers. Now for the really cool part in Section 3. Let's look at how these successful platforms are so meticulously engineered to just tear down those costs and build bridges right over these social gaps.
Now this is fascinating, because it shows us there is no single magic bullet. Every platform is basically a specialized tool built for a different social job. Look at Facebook. It's amazing at lowering the presentation and communication costs for friends. It makes it so easy to share photos and drop a quick like. Then you have LinkedIn, which does the same thing but for professionals, right? It uses structured work histories and endorsements to lower that evaluation cost. But then there's Twitter. And what's wild is its presentation cost is actually high. You have to be clever and consistent to build an audience. It's not for deep friendships. It's a tool for public acquaintance.
And this stat just drives that point home perfectly. A study found that a staggering 40% of Twitter users had never sent a single tweet, not one. Why? Well, because the cost of presenting, of having to think of something witty or insightful to say to the whole world, is just too high for most people.
Now, let's contrast that with Facebook. If you compare Facebook to Mixi, which was an early Japanese social network, the difference is just night and day. 80% of Facebook users in a study had more than 10 photos on their profile, compared to only 22% on Mixi. Facebook totally cracked the code on making it cheap and easy to present your personal life, and that's what fueled its insane growth.
So this is where it all comes together. This whole framework isn't just about making friends online. In our last section, we're going to see how solving these social failures becomes a really powerful strategy that pretty much any business can use to connect with its customers and, you guessed it, make a profit.
Let's look at a perfect example, eBay's group gifts feature. First, they identified a classic social failure, the pure awkwardness of having to chase your friends down for money for a group present. We've all been there. Their solution? An app that handles everything. The invitations, the money collection, the tracking, and the business goal? It's genius. By solving this social headache, they guide a whole group of friends directly to an eBay shopping cart. It's a perfect loop. Solve a social problem, generate a sale. So simple, so elegant, and so effective.
So this right here is the blueprint for a winning social strategy. It's not about just getting likes. It's about surgically targeting a specific social failure. Take American Express and their open forum. They saw that small business owners felt really isolated. That's a social failure. Their solution? An exclusive online community. That eased the failure. And it was linked directly to profitability by making their card more valuable. And it was a unique solution that Facebook or a competitor couldn't just copy. That is the formula.
So I want to leave you with this question to chew on. Now that you have this framework, what's the most valuable interaction in your own life that's being blocked by one of these 4 costs? And maybe more importantly, how could you lower that cost?
Thank you so much for watching. If this framework gave you a totally new way to think about your own social world, please give this explainer a like, subscribe for more breakdowns, and definitely hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. We'll see you next time.